Yeah, come on. Make that bacon.
Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Becky.
We are registered dietitians that are passionate about food as medicine.
In today's video, we are going to be talking all about bacon, which, to be honest, is one of our favorite foods, might be a food group in and of itself. And we will be talking about our favorite way to prepare bacon on a pan, as well as some of its health benefits, and debunking some of the common bacon myths.
Yes, as functional medicine-based dietitians, it's often a surprise from our clients or our blog subscribers or readers of the Anti-Anxiety Diet Cookbook how often that we include bacon into recipes. But the reality is that bacon can be a health-supporting food, chock full of nutrient density. So bacon is a rich source of choline. Choline is a cousin, if you will, to the B vitamin family that has a lot of research supporting neurological development as well as enhancement in cognition. So from conception, supporting neural tube development and brain health in babies, all the way through prevention of Alzheimer's disease, choline is a really important nutrient and many Americans are actually deficient in it. The best sources of choline are egg yolk, bacon, and liver. I happen to think bacon is the most delicious of those three options.
I mean, and bacon and eggs together.
Double hit for sure. Yes. Beyond choline, bacon is also a rich source of B vitamins. So a great source of thiamine as well as niacin. We see a good amount of B12 in bacon and even minerals like zinc. So bacon as a nutritional support can be a really good brain boosting food and also a mood stabilizer. I talk about a lot of those nutrients in the anti-anxiety diet and how they can combat or regulate your stress response as well as regulating your mood.
And then there's potassium in bacon as well, which it's one of my favorite real food forms of electrolytes, especially to support a keto diet. I think it's pretty fantastic.
Yes.
So some of the common myths that we have to bust about bacon, I think the first big one is, ooh, doesn't that have way too much cholesterol, especially when we pair it with something like eggs as a breakfast and maybe we eat it 3 to even 5 times a week or top it on a salad or something like that. And then the second myth is that it is classified, or processed meats are classified as a class 1 carcinogen by the WHO. And while certain processed meats can be considered a carcinogen, not all bacon is created equal. So I think that's the part that we really need to dig into. So yeah, we want our bacon to come from happy pigs that are raised on pasture. They're getting exposure to the sun, so we're seeing increased vitamin D. They're able to use their musculature. They're not all cooped up and crammed in a confined feedlot operation. And then they are consuming their most close to natural diet as possible. So while pigs wouldn't be ruminants per se like cows that are eating exclusively grass, we want to make sure they're not supplemented with GMO corn or soy.
Absolutely. And then let's talk about the curing agents. So first we're talking about the idea that yes, pork belly, or the cut where bacon comes from, could be a health supporting food based on the sourcing of the animal. Now, once you take that pork belly and you make it into bacon, there's some issues that could come about as well.
So yes, it's all about what we're adding to the bacon in terms of those curing agents. If we're doing a cured bacon, we could use something like celery or chard as a natural form of nitrate versus the sodium nitrites, which are synthetic. And those are the chemicals that are problematic in terms of the carcinogenic properties.
Absolutely. And then you can actually also purchase uncured bacon, which will use sugar and salt often. And then there's even cleaner options like Peterson's, for example. They use pomegranate juice instead of a refined sugar. And then they add citrus peel and rosemary as natural antioxidants. So you're getting preservatives from natural antioxidants, which actually have health supporting properties, and then they just use a pure salt.
Super cool. So let's debunk maybe the cholesterol piece of the puzzle, because actually bacon doesn't have that much cholesterol.
Right. And this just in, cholesterol is actually an antioxidant that's an integral part of every cell membrane in your body. So we don't demonize cholesterol in our Naturally Nourished clinic. But just to note, yes, a slice of bacon has like 9 milligrams of cholesterol when compared to an egg, which has 187 milligrams. So bacon itself is not a high cholesterol food. Again, with that said, cholesterol's okay. It's really refined carbohydrates, processed foods that drive up the harmful form of your LDL particles. Now, aside from that, bacon is rich in saturated fats for sure, but as Becky mentioned, the composition of the diet of the animal and the health of the animal will have an influence on the profile of lipids of the bacon and the level of inflammation. Also, saturated fat is very health stable. So you'll see in a lot of our recipes, we use pastured raised lard, tallow, and other saturated fats because they have high heat stability, and that means that they can actually tolerate higher cooking temperatures without getting oxidized and becoming rancid, which is actually more harmful, like we'll see in our polyunsaturated vegetable oils.
And then again, it's those nitrites that are problematic as an ingredient in the bacon. So you want to look at that label and ensure there's not sodium nitrite or potassium nitrite, or that word nitrite with an I. There can also be things like caramel color, dextrose, even high fructose corn syrup in some bacon out there, like a typical Oscar Mayer bacon.
Yes, so we do acknowledge that processed meats could be associated with cancer, especially colon cancer tends to be the one that is correlated. But we also have to acknowledge as the third point that these are based on observational studies. So when we're looking at the risk factor or the known carcinogenic effect of processed meats, this is often done through a food recall. And when we're doing a food recall, there tends to be a halo effect, which can skew the individual filling out their food frequency survey to actually, in a healthier diet, downplay because of that perception of meat or processed meats or bacon be bad. The individuals that are healthier may downplay that, and then those individuals that don't eat as many vegetables or health supporting foods, or healthy individuals that exercise, lift weights, etc., may be reporting more accurately their bacon because they don't prioritize their health. So there's always a little bit of skew, and in observational, we're looking at correlation, not causation.
Make that bacon, make that bacon, make that bacon. Make that bacon.
All right, so let's make our bacon. We've got the oven preheated first and foremost to 400 degrees. And then we've got a sheet pan here that's lined with parchment paper, which is going to make cleanup so much easier. Not all that grease splatter.
Yes, and this is unbleached parchment paper, which we always select in our household. And I want to note, I always remember bacon being my Stella's first favorite food. Well, maybe actually salmon and blueberries, but once she was over age 1, we shared bacon with her, and I have many videos of her in her car seat saying, food, and I would say, what would you like? And she'd say, bacon.
Yeah.
And we would keep these Peterson's individually wrapped slices of bacon in the diaper bag so that when she was having a stress response or like a toddler flip out, protein and fat is always a stabilizer for our toddlers when they're getting hangry, right? And bacon with that boost of choline and B vitamins is a really good mellower outer food for our children. So, pro tip there.
Could even be good for teething with that chomp crunch factor.
Yes, and honestly, when Stella has had bouts of cold or virus, sometimes she really lowers her intake and we just do bone broth popsicles and such. And bacon, as you said, is a really great electrolyte-rich food. Yep. So when your child has a low appetite, a quality source bacon could be something that you kind of give them throughout the day to maintain electrolyte stability and not a lot of intense digestive process for the gut.
All right, so you can see we've lined these out in a single layer. You want to make sure they're not overlapping too much, but they are going to shrink a little bit as soon as you start cooking.
Yes, and with that said, Becky, honestly, that's why I love doing bacon in the pan. I think the shrinkage factor is a lot less than we see if we were to saute stovetop.
Yep. All right, so it's been 15 minutes. We're going to go ahead and check the oven and see if it's ready. Let me pull this guy out, and we can see we've got a little bit of shrink there. We're getting some crispy edge, but we definitely need some more time. So probably about 3 to 4 more minutes here.
Make that bacon, make that bacon, make that bacon. Make that bacon, make that bacon, make that bacon. You know my reputation, straight up levitating.
Mama, this bacon looks delicious.
It sure does. So y'all saw I had flipped the bacon at about 22 minutes and then put it back in the oven at 400 for another 5 to 7 minutes to get this perfect caramelized bacon. I hope that y'all will try doing bacon in the oven as well. We think it provides the perfect texture. And now you know that bacon can be food as medicine. So be kind and share this content with a coworker, friend, or family member who thinks that bacon is unhealthy, and you can school them in the food as medicine. We hope that you subscribe to the Naturally Nourished YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on our food as medicine tips, tricks, and recipes. And like this video and comment below on how you liked your bacon in the oven.
Thanks, friends.
A match made for certain. It's awkward. Just take out that match made phrase.